speech, I'd really like to thank Miss Henze and the late Mr. Henze for pushing me to do this every year. It's been a great opportunity, and without their dedication, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to go to state the past 2 years. So thank you very much for that. All right, and the topic for the speech was, does my generation have a role in America's future? It's still dark inside her Virginia home on this crisp January morning, but she can't sleep. Her mind races as she recalls the past few months, nothing short of incredible. She crawls out of bed to look out her window at the snow-covered trees. It seems so surreal. She smiles as she remembers back in high school when she was asked to consider whether her generation would have a role in America's future. Today, she will demonstrate the strength of her commitment to have a positive role in that future. It is the 20th of January, 2041, and today she will be sworn in as the 50th President of the United States. Walking into the kitchen, she notices a message on her phone. It's from her best friend, Kayla, wanting to let her know how proud she is. Back in high school, she and Kayla participated on the parliamentary procedures team in the FFA, where her dreams of holding political office took root. She quickly replies, thanking her, but noting that she is equally proud of Kayla, who as an agricultural engineer discovered new ways of mass-producing crops to feed impoverished nations. Besides, Kayla encouraged her every step of the way as she pursued her political ambitions. She thinks back on other friends from school, some whose lives have turned out far differently than they planned, and some who've exceeded all expectations. For instance, there's Jimmy. The other boys used to tease him because of his interest in cooking. Jimmy now owns and is the master chef for a 5-star restaurant in New York City. Emily never had time for fun on weekends because she had to take care of her physically challenged brother. Today, hundreds of special needs children and their families have benefited from the nonprofit organization that Emily founded in order to make their lives easier. Mark was never the brightest kid in class, but his work ethic and willingness to take risks paid off when he struck it rich in the oil fields. All of them have had a part in shaping the future. Excited about the day ahead, she heads back upstairs to wake her husband. What an amazing man he is. A star athlete in college with a brilliant business mind. He put his own plans on hold to support her quest for political office. A busy campaign schedule left little time for him to pursue his own interests. But somehow, he managed to find time to coach Little League, where he teaches kids the importance of setting and reaching for goals. Amidst her happiness, she sheds a tear, thinking that her big brother won't be there to see her sworn into office. It was only a year ago that her family received the horrible news that he'd been mortally wounded by an improvised explosive device. She looks up at a photo of him in his military uniform, remembering him as a great leader. She laughs quietly, recalling him as the daredevil boy who always challenged the rules. Who could have guessed the role he would have one day played as the commander of an elite special forces unit and an inspiration to many men who will follow in his footsteps. He became a hero who unselfishly laid down his life for the sake of our country. It's almost time for her to get dressed and ready to go. She pulls out her inaugural address for a final review. The last hour of reminiscing has convinced her she needs to specifically encourage the teenagers who will be listening. She pauses to think and adds, let me say something to the young people who wonder what your future holds and what role your generation will play in America's future. While the future may not turn out exactly as you expect, I can assure you that you each have an important role to play and an opportunity to make a difference. You are the future of America, just like my generation was once and the generation before mine. So take hold of the talents, abilities, and interests that you now possess. For such things are the tools you need to have a bright and successful future. By doing so, you will make us proud. Inauguration Day, 2041. A day that my generation seems as distant and almost unimaginable, but it will come. And what we see now as the future will be the present. Whether we are planning for it or thinking about it, we will have important roles to play. The future of America is in our hands.